has had a very strong online presence for this entire campaign.
That's right.
A lot of young followers are very active on Twitter and email, Facebook, and the like. Our coverage continues. We're going to take a short break. Caucus is getting underway now across Iowa. More than 1,700 precincts, 1,774 voting underway in a number of places. We're going to bring you all the results as we get them. Our coverage continues in a moment.
There is a platform built for the purpose of driving innovation, one that's transforming how companies from every industry and of every size are doing business. A platform built for now and for what's next. This is the Cisco Intelligent Network. What can we help you build? Cisco.
With nothing but his computer, an identity thief is able to use your information to open a bank account in order to make your money his money. You need LifeLock, the only identity protection company that now monitors bank accounts for takeover fraud. LifeLock, relentlessly protecting your identity. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com today.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
CNN Tonight, a Piers Morgan special live at midnight. Piers has the last word on Iowa and the first on New Hampshire. Rick Santorum joins him live tonight midnight.
From the front rows of fashion to the front lines of the Middle East, you can trust the New York Times to deliver the highest standard of reporting from the world's finest journalists. So become a digital subscriber and get unlimited access to the Times. Act now and get your first 4 weeks for just 99 cents. A digital subscription gives you the full experience, all the videos, multimedia, blogs, and breaking stories 24 hours a day. Plus, get access to the Times wherever you go with custom apps for your smartphone or tablet. Just call 1-800-252-1006 or go to nytimes.com 99 cents. And see for yourself why a Times digital subscription is an experience you won't want to miss. Try it now, just 99 cents for your first 4 weeks.
Live coverage of the New Hampshire primary, CNN, next Tuesday night, 7 Eastern.
The first votes of the 2012 presidential season have now occurred. In fact, they're occurring over at Indianola High School. Take a look over here. They just put them in this box. You can see this plastic box over there. That's where the votes are. People circle the names of the candidate they want to see as the Republican presidential nominee. They've brought, at this lunchroom from the Indianola High School, they brought the box to a table. They're going to actually count these ballots right now. Peter Hamby is there for us. Peter, they're doing it the old-fashioned way, aren't they?
They really are. They passed around sort of a big plastic bin, and everyone kind of dumped their secret ballot in. This is an interesting place, actually. Indianola is a pretty conservative precinct. They were expecting a bigger turnout than they actually got. They had 200 ballots prepared and only got about 150 or so people here. Wolf, it was also really interesting that we saw no one stood up and spoke for either Newt Gingrich or Rick Perry. Organization is key in the caucuses, and you want to have as many of your supporters across the state speaking up, trying to change some minds at the last minute. And Rick Perry was supposed to have this vaunted ground game, and obviously you can't cover every single precinct, but it was kind of shocking when the precinct chairman asked, is there anyone out here who wants to stand up and speak for Rick Perry? Nobody did. Even John Huntsman, who is not competing in Iowa, had a volunteer here who came and sold Huntsman on his foreign policy credentials.
Stand by for a moment, Peter. I want to go to the Cedar Rapids caucus because they're actually counting the votes there. Maybe we could hear what they're saying.
Are you talking to somebody else? Because I don't hear anything.
caucus. They're expecting about 200 or 300 people there at the Bethany Lutheran Church. John, you know, this is a democracy in action, and I love the fact that they're doing it the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way, and Wolf, CNN has more cameras in these caucuses than any other news organization, and one of the things you've been checking in with our reporters, one of the things we're going to get to do is they count the votes. You see the action going on here in Indianola. They're counting right now. Once they start officially tabulating that count, we'll watch it fill in right here. We'll get the counts as they come in. That's Indianola. You see them handing the secret ballots around. You got the local Republicans there doing their work right now. Democracy in action is right. Let's beam out. We'll show you. We have 4 right here as well. In Cedar Falls and in Clive, you see the officials are just starting to speak. So they're just getting underway. Some larger crowds there. The candidates will make their pitches. Soledad was just talking about that. In Ankeny, you see here, as they're speaking, you see the paperwork being done in the corner here. This is a unique process, and we can take you right inside. And again, once they start to tabulate them, we've got reporters on the scenes, and we've also got right here, we can watch them count up the votes in the magic wall. We can watch from the caucus sites, and then when we pull out, we come back to the map, and we'll watch the state of Iowa. Remember, that was completely blank a little while ago. Slowly starting to tune in. You see some of these early 1 or 2 precincts may have reported about 1% of the vote being reported in so far. So we're just about to kick in, and history tells us the Republicans count pretty quickly. Once this process gets underway, we should know pretty quickly.
They make a phone call to Des Moines, to Republican Party headquarters. They say what the results are in these caucuses. They add it up, and we'll get a better sense of what's going on. John, stand by. I want to go back to Aaron and Gloria over there. You're getting some more sense of what's going on from the entrance poll questionnaires we gave people as they were walking in, Aaron.
Yes, we are, Wolf. And this is, as you've been talking about, the second wave. You've been talking about the leaders there with Rick Santorum, Ron Paul, and Mitt Romney. This is based on about 700 to 900 people, what they had to say when they came in. And I wanted to emphasize this question. Born-again evangelical or Christian. This is really important. As you can see, 58% of the people in Wave 2 that we had surveyed at our entrance poll identify themselves, yes, as born-again or evangelical. 42% as no. Last time around in 2008, this final number was 60% identified themselves as evangelicals. And the reason this is so important is because in 2008, that of the evangelical vote, 46% went for Mike Huckabee. So let's look at the people who identify themselves as evangelicals. And everyone, this is the big moment. Wolf, the flick. And there it goes.
Wow.
Okay. So this is our flick, and we can blow this up as big as we want. Sort of like iPad technology.
Yes.
Okay, so here's where we are right now. Born again, evangelical Christian, yes. Gloria, what does this say to you about them going for Ron Paul?
Well, there are a lot of interesting things here. First of all, what this says is Ron Paul is, of course, ardently pro-life candidate. But it also says to me that evangelical voters are not single-issue voters. Ron Paul has a very strong conservative economic message, and that may very well appeal to evangelical Christians, of course, as well. The one I'm interested in here is, of course, Rick Santorum.
Right.
He gets 21%, and that evangelical vote, you pointed out, Mike Huckabee last time got 46% of it. It is now split.
That's right.
Among a whole bunch of candidates here. Michelle Bachmann, Gingrich, Perry, Romney, Santorum, Paul, they're all splitting it. This is good for Mitt Romney.
And I want to emphasize, everyone, as we all talk about, because John had mentioned, can Mitt Romney get above that crucial 25% threshold overall? Right now, with 16% of the evangelical vote, in 2008, he got 19% of that vote. So he's right near that threshold again. We'll see what will happen. But now, with the magic of technology, let's look at the people who identify themselves as not born again or evangelical. And this, I guess, no surprise, and this is what's important here, not just going for Mitt Romney, but he's got a big 34%.
He does have a big 34%, and I guess that is no surprise, because those who are not identified as evangelicals, Mitt Romney is
matches
a Mormon.
His total last time around.
Exactly, he is a Mormon after all. But again, look at Ron Paul here. This is the economic message, I think, of Ron Paul getting through. It spreads across whether you're evangelical or you're not evangelical. He does very well.
All right, and I'm going to talk about that later tonight, because a lot of people think, oh, Ron Paul, does he have staying power? Is he too radical economically? I spent the day talking to major investors and CEOs, and some really big surprises on what they had to say about Ron Paul. We'll talk about that later. Anderson.
Let's check in with Eric Erickson, editor-in-chief of RedState.com and a CNN contributor. Also, Republican strategist Alex Castellanos. Alex, have you borrowed one of Rick Santorum's sweater vests? Is that what you're wearing here?
I sewed some sleeves on it.
Okay.
It's cold here.
All right, you're at Santorum headquarters. What is the mood there tonight?
You remember those movies where the American space capsule goes around the moon for the first time and we lose contact with it? That's the mood here, anxiety. Everybody's waiting for the polls to close, for people to come back and get a little bit of information. Media consultant John Brabender is tweaking the lights. They just did a dry run with the campaign's theme song, heroic scene song to elevate the candidate, and everybody's just needles and pins waiting for the shoes to drop here.
Eric, a lot of people over the last couple of days have watched the so-called Rick Santorum surge in this Des Moines Register poll, which took place over 4 days. In the last 2 days of that poll, in the first 2 days, he was in around 15% or so, or even below that. In the last couple of days, he was in the 21, 22%, finished 15% overall. How confident are they, and to what do they attribute that surge? A lot of folks have been saying he was just the last guy standing when everybody else has been the front runner and then fallen.
Yeah, you know, everyone's trying to dampen down the expectations a little bit, just reminding everyone this is new, and you get that sense from the facility where we're in. It's much smaller than you would think if we were going to have a massive crowd here. I expect by 9 or 10, the fire marshal may be having some issues with the size of the crowd we might be able to expect. There's going to be some excited people here, though, I suspect, looking at some of the early returns that y'all have been talking about.
And Anderson, one way to look at the numbers here is last election, if you add up the evangelical vote that Mike Huckabee and Fred Thompson got, it's about 56,000 votes. Assume that a little less than half of that will be split up this time by, say, Rick Perry, Michelle Bachmann, and even Newt Gingrich a little bit. That leaves 30,000 votes out there for somebody like Rick Santorum, who seems to have gotten some momentum. That might be a ceiling for him. He'd be thrilled to come close. All right, we're going to check in with you guys throughout the evening. Thanks very much. John King is over here at the Magic Wall. John, what have you been looking at?
Anderson, we're looking at our live caucus cams. I want to take you to Indianola. I want to show you, this is the first caucus where we've seen the vote tally start to come in. You see Romney 25, Ron Paul is winning over here with 40 right now. I'm pretty sure we can listen in. Let's try to listen in for a minute.
The Central Committee meets once a month. It's the third Monday of the month.
If you Sometimes it's not that exciting.
If you wanted to, well, they've done the counting. Now they're doing the organizing.
You can get the donuts in the back.
Be careful. Now, this is actually important work. We might look and say, what do we care about the Central Committee, the Republican Committee in Indianola, Iowa? Iowa is a classic swing state. The last 13 presidential elections, 7 times for the Republicans, 6 times for the Democrat. What these Republicans are hoping tonight is that it doesn't end tonight, that they have a good competitive campaign in November as well. But tonight, as we try to figure out who will be our first winner.
So they've already voted in Indianola.
They've already voted.
They're now doing party business.
Now they're doing some party business. You see people on their table, you know, maybe they're tweeting. Maybe Allie will find these tweets right here. You see people taking notes. You see them doing some Republican
So are these
business.
the final numbers from Indianola, or are they kind of rolling in?
Now that she's doing the official business, I assume they're the final numbers. I know Peter Hamby is on the ground here. He'll confirm that for us. But, Wolf, as we watch all this play out, it is fascinating to get right inside the room. This looks like a school cafeteria here. And at this one site, you see it highlighted here. We make it easy for you. Ron Paul is winning, but then you have a split throughout the rest. Wolf, we're going to keep watching these all night long.
All right, we've got, I think, all of the respondents now to the entrance poll results have reported. We've tabulated the results. Let's see what happened. Now, there are 2 waves. The early waves, we told you about the tie between Ron Paul and Mitt Romney. Both were 24%, 18% for Rick Santorum, 13% for Newt Gingrich. Now we've got all the early arrivals and the late arrivals. They have now been tabulated. They've counted. These are the poll results, not the official results, but this is what people said they were going to do as they were walking in to these caucuses. Let's take a look at both waves and what the results are. All voters, look at this. Ron Paul, 24%. Mitt Romney, 23%. Very close behind Rick Santorum, 19%. Newt Gingrich, 13%. This is the entrance poll. Let's see the bottom 3 right now as well. In addition to these are the top 4. Rick Perry with 11%. Michelle Bachmann, 7%. John Huntsman, only 1%. He really didn't campaign in Iowa right now. But